Hello and a warm welcome to all of you. You're watching Beyond the Boundary on TOI Sports. It's a double-header weekend today in the IPL with Mumbai Indians taking on the Lucknow Super Giants at the Wankhede Stadium, and in the night we are having Delhi Capitals take on RCB. And to discuss today's game as well as yesterday's washout between Punjab Kings and Kolkata Knight Riders at the Eden Gardens. We have a lovely panel today. We have Dwaipayan Dutta from Chennai. Hi, Dwaipayan.
Hi, hi.
And we have Gaurav Gupta from Mumbai's Wankhede Stadium, the epicenter of cricket in Mumbai. Hi, Gigi. How hot is it there? And what does the wicket look like? And how's the crowd there?
Hi, for both of you. The wicket, I mean, firstly, the weather is I mean, it must be difficult to sit in the stands and go through this, watch this 3:30 game. Although it's a much anticipated match between MI and LSG, two teams fighting it out in the in the mid table. This thing, one is plays I think around fourth or fifth, and the other is just behind that. Both have similar records. So very highly anticipated match. A lot of explosive players on both the sides. And regarding the wicket, I'm not sure. I think it will be a slow and sluggish wicket. That's what I'm expecting. Like what MI have been comfortable with it with when it comes to especially putting teams in and then sort of restricting them to around 160 wins, 170, and then with their powerful batting lineup, starting with the back in form Rohit Sharma opening the innings, coming in as impact player. I think they will stick to that same kind of a strategy and prefer a wicket where the ball is sort of. And I think since it's an afternoon game, one thing is there that the dew factor will not be there as leg spinner LSG leg spinner Indian leg spinner Ravi Bishnoi pointed out yesterday. So things should be slightly even for the team bowling second as well. And regarding the stands, there are a lot of kids because it's an education and sports for all match which the Reliance Foundation organizes. It's an initiative of Nita Ambani. Every year they do this match annual one game afternoon game is dedicated to the kids. They all come in. There are underprivileged kids who come from all the NGOs, and it's such a sight to see the stadium filled up with all those kids and chanting in their this thing Mumbai Charaja Kaun Rohit Sharma. So it's all pretty electric atmosphere here.
Dwaipan, just if you can just touch upon what happened last night at the Eden Gardens, as we know that in the months of April we have this call by shock, as they say. Just because I was watching the weather forecast and there was no sign of it day before yesterday. It just came all of a sudden, and it just ruined what seemed like an exciting chase because Kolkata Knight Riders at one point of time we thought that Punjab Kings would put up around 230 or 240 thanks to that brilliant start between Prab Simran and Priyan Sharia. But then KKR, I think Andy Russell came back very well and bowled a beautiful spell, and KKR fought back. So your take on what happened and how the Punjab Kings innings kind of limped towards the end, and also I was reading Manoj Tiwari's tweet about how he does not see the Punjab Kings win the IPL this year because he says that their coach, the legendary Ricky Ponting, is more obsessed with their with the foreign players like Josh Inglis and Glenn Maxwell. And he cited the example of yesterday when the Punjab Kings had the opportunity to launch and really go big towards the end. He sent in their out of form and rusty players like Maxwell and Inglis, and that cost the team momentum.
Okay. First thing, it's called Kal Boishakhi. It's nor'wester, and it used to come a little early, around 5 p.m., 6 p.m. These days with
Okay.
weather change, it comes around 7:38 or little later, because this used to be an afternoon storm. That used to be a relief for all of us growing up in Calcutta during that extreme heat. It
Hmm.
wasn't a relief for the fans yesterday because it ruined, which was probably which seemed to be a very interesting game at that. I do not exactly think interesting because 200 plus target KKR might have struggled. I think might have struggled. Uh, about the Punjab innings, I thought those Priyan Sharia and Prab Simran were fantastic. They have been good, and they just carried on from there. KKR bowling looked limp. They didn't know what to do. Back end, they did come back. Yes, not getting Nehal Vadera and Shashank Singh is slightly strange. Yeah, it is true. It is true that what Manoj is saying, that about this bias for foreign Australian players like Shashank Singh, Nehal Vadera on current form are not worse than Josh Inglis and Glenn Maxwell. Glenn Maxwell should not be played as a batter. As far as I am concerned, he should not be played as a batter in any team, not in the even in the Australian national team. He's just, he can at best be a bowling all rounder on current form, because he is going to fail in 8 matches and probably come good in 2. Yeah, Josh Inglis is an interesting batsman. He plays well. He knows how to deal with the slightly slower ones and all that. But Nehal Vadera, Nehal Vadera is a better player on these conditions, uh, on current form. So yes, I agree to an extent with Manoj that these the foreign coaches, especially these Australian, New Zealand coaches, that they have this bias towards their own players. Where I see it in CSK also a little bit, like they don't play the young Indian guys till they're pushed to the wall and go on playing Rachin Ravindra and Devon Conway and all these guys. So it is there. It is there. It's very much there.
Gaurav, your take on what happened yesterday night, and what Manoj Tiwari and what Dwaipayan also feel. We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Yeah, I think Manoj Tiwari has pretty much hit the nail on the head, because the guys like Shashank Singh, Nihal Vadera, they're actually very in good touch, and they're good players in terms of finishing off the innings. And then you suddenly put Glenn Maxwell and Josh Inglis there. I don't think that's fair, just because Ponting comes from Australia, and these guys are Aussie cricketers who need to justify their place in the squad, and you push them ahead. वो bias है थोड़ा सा, or वो, I think it's existed for a while on earlier occasions also. I was actually surprised when Glenn Maxwell was bought by the Punjab Kings. I mean, he's had pathetic IPLs for a number of years now, and teams just wait for that one explosive innings, that one explosive cameo. कि वो time आएगा आएगा, but वो चला जाता है वो time. This is not the first time when he's had a poor IPL, and yet he keeps getting bought by franchises, which is sad to see, because इतने chances Indian players को नहीं मिलते हैं. If an Indian player has that kind of an IPL next year, you'll find him dropped by his team, and then he'll not be possibly be bought by anybody also. We have examples here of Shardul Thakur, Prithvi Shaw, of course, for various reasons. But we've had players, we've had examples of, and I think it's the Indian Premier League. So I think that's what is beginning to hurt. I mean, in the earlier years, you could say that there are a lot of, the quality of Indian players might not have been good enough, and then you persist with foreigners, but not now. And this is a team which is on a surge. It's been doing very well. So I find it hard to understand कि ये आपका regional bias ये क्यों आ जाता है यहाँ पर, and I'm glad that it's being called out finally, because on earlier occasions also I've seen the Aussies, particularly Ricky Ponting's case, although he's a terrific coach, with full marks to him, but on certain occasions I think that bias comes through, as is evident. I mean, Shashank had a terrific IPL last year, got retained by his franchisee, and he was in looked in very nice touch in the few matches that he played in. Nihal Vadera also couple of match-winning innings. I think the 43 not out in the initial match against LSG, and then the 33 not out, was it 30 not out in that rain-affected match. That was really, I thought, the game changer of an innings. Against RCB at the Chinnaswamy. Before the match, an interaction with Virat, and after the match also, Virat Kohli also liked his batting. So as a coach, I would rather ensure that such a player who's sort of picking up, I would give him more and more chances. In his defense, perhaps Ricky can say that, look, I've got two Indian openers in Prabhsindram Singh and Priyansh Arya. So it's not like I'm pushing for the Aussie players all the time. But fact is, and Stoinis has been warming up the benches. अगर आपको खिलाना ही है Aussie player को, तो आप Marcus Stoinis को खिलाओ ना. He's also a match winner. You play him. So I think also, apart from the Aussie bias, he's getting the mixture of the 11 wrong.
Okay. Uh, Jumping into today's games, Dwaipayan, LSG versus Mumbai, a mid-table battle almost. Um how do you see this game developing? An afternoon game at the Wankhede? We saw strange and almost curious visuals of Rishabh Pant and Zahir Khan, engaging in that animated discussion in that game, in the earlier game that Lucknow played. Uh, your take on how this whole thing has panned out for Rishabh Pant in Lucknow, bought a very very big ticket player, bought for the record price, and just not being able to deliver. Firstly, what is the ideal batting position for him coming into today's game, and the way, and what did you make out of that, of those visuals? That should those visuals really be available to the world, because that can easily happen in the dressing room.
Yes, like discussions, differences of opinion, these are bound to happen in the dressing room. There cannot be a dressing room where there is no debate. And those making probably a mountain out of a molehill I don't see it to be right. Like that is something that should not happen. Having said that, Rishabh Pant is in a strange situation at the moment. Like he has lost his white ball place in the Indian team, and that is why he's so desperate to make an impression that he's kind of messing it up uh, while playing for his franchisee. He being the captain, one day he goes to open, the other day he's batting at three, then he doesn't bat at all. Like that, that's what it should not be like that. Like I think Rahul Dravid had found the right position for him in the batting order at number three. That was a good in
Yeah.
T20 cricket. I think that is a good position for him. It's not opening, but number three, he's a good bat. He knows how to bat. He can control the innings. Has all the shots in the book. Like uh, that is his position. I do not understand his desperation at the moment. Like if he thinks that this he's losing his white ball place, he should just chill a bit. He's a player who's a liberated soul, a free soul kind of a player. He should not clutter his mind so much with so many thoughts that whether I'm getting dropped, what will happen. That will only restrict him. That will not get We will not get the best of Rishabh Pant if he starts overthinking so much. Having said that, this Lucknow Super Giant team, we saw how KL Rahul also started feeling the pressure. I think there is a kind of a sense of, because Sanjeev Goenka is a businessman who wants to win, who he wins with his football franchisee also, and so there is a desperation in those ranks. So that desperation is probably seeping into the team, that sometimes eats into the performances of some of their top players, which should not happen, which ideally should not happen, because after KL Rahul, now it's Rishabh Pant, and these are things that probably should be taken care of at another level. They should try to make it a little more comfortable for the team. That is how I feel. Maybe one good performance, one victory will make it easier for them, but till then, I think it is becoming part and parcel of this Lucknow Super Giant franchise.
Okay, Gaurav, according to you, what should be the ideal entry point for Rishabh Pant? If you look at the number of overs remaining, or should we just keep it fluid in terms of flexibility?
I think when it comes to the Rishabh Pant situation, for me, the big worry is that there's the England series after the IPL, and I hope that he doesn't keep losing confidence, and somewhere the Indian team is sort of monitoring him, and the India coach tells him that you're good enough and you are our best batsman in Test cricket. You have been our best batsman in Test cricket for the last 5 years, and we want you to be at your best in England. Because that is where, I mean, even in the Australia, the last test that we lost in, I mean, Rishabh played that blazing innings, I think, in the second innings. and in the first innings, he took a lot of blows on his body to show that he can play a different game. So I think it will be important for him to forget what has happened in this IPL quickly, and so that he's in the groove for England. And if need be, if LSG get knocked out, he should be sent in early, I think, so that he recovers his confidence in those conditions and in the whites, because in the whites he's unstoppable at times. When it comes to his white ball game as such, there are issues, and those issues I think are difficult to address, because it's a long. It's not like like just this IPL is he's been ordinary. His white ball record in general is ordinary in T20s, and so I think he should stop stressing on it. Jo hai so hai. I think perhaps he can take a leaf out of KL Rahul's book. KL Rahul's white ball game was mocked for a long, long time, and he was thought to be a misfit in the T20s, in the ODIs. Let's face it, his own franchisee, got stories done that there were issues around his strike rate. In the matches that in which KL Rahul scored a half century, this team went on to lose, and they were examples of that. So KL Rahul has worked hard on his white ball game and brought it to the. I don't know if maybe KL Rahul worked with Abhishek Nair and sort of Abhishek, they together worked on a few of his shots. India's former assistant coach, who's now also with the T20 Mumbai League team as a mentor. I don't know if Rishabh can seek him out, and since Abhishek was also a left-hander, sort of both of them can have a few sessions in which they can work out what are the areas where Rishabh needs to work on, and there is still hope. It's just he's still very young. So, but in the meantime, I think India's priorities with Rishabh are very clear, that we should see the best of him in red ball cricket, especially overseas, where we really struggle. Our batting lineup really struggles. I still feel in England it's not the Kohlis and the Rohits who will shine. It will be back to Rishabh Pant, who will be doing will be doing the bulk of your scoring.
Uh, I uh, I wanted to ask you, according to you, what would be an ideal entry point for Rishabh Pant in a T20 innings in terms of number of overs remaining to see the best of him? What according to you can be an ideal entry point?
See, point is the number. The top three in LSG are doing very well, na. So there's no scope.
Yeah,
मतलब वो
yeah.
कहाँ आएंगे? You're opening with Markham and this guy,
March, March,
Mitch
March.
Marsh. It has
Yeah,
been one of the things that have been working pretty well for LSG. उनके जो 4-5 मैच उन्होंने जीते हैं, उसमें टॉप थ्री का
yeah,
बहुत जबरदस्त
yeah,
कंट्रीब्यूशन रहा है. With Nicholas Puran at 3, and Nicholas Puran जिस तरह की फॉर्म में है, you wouldn't want to touch him at all. He's in the sort of form that Chris Gayle was in for a few years in that golden
yeah.
phase of his. He's hitting sixes for fun. So you won't want to touch that top three. So the only option is कि उनको number 4 पे. But then I think there are guys like Abdul Samad. He batted. He was, I thought, very attacking. I think when they have 3-4 overs left, they feel that if they send Abdul Samad, then he can do a bit of a damage, and that happened in one of the games where he hit 4 sixes. So I think, and
Yeah.
David Miller is also there. They have good finishers. So I guess थोड़ा सा issues है. Maybe yeah, you guys. I mean, Dwaipayan could be right that if Nicholas is dropped to number 4 and Puran is sent at number 3 at one down. Sorry, Rishabh comes at one down. Then he's able to rediscover his mojo to some extent.
Okay. If you can just peep through your window and let me know if is there any chance that we can see Mayank Yadav play today?
Nothing as of now that I can see. That I can see Bishnoi bowling, Ravi Bishnoi bowling in the ground, but yeah, no, I don't think so. I'm not sure about Mayank Yadav. I think he's just there for a bit of a rehab, and towards the end of the tournament they'll want to give him a few games. It's just sort of a similar situation, I think, to what what is there with Umran Malik, with KKR taking him under their wings and sort of helping him through his rehab. It would be a pleasant surprise if Mayank plays, because I mean, Mayank again, somebody whom we will want in our T20 side. I don't think again beyond T20s Mayank ka future game may secure hai, because of the tremendous amount of injuries that his body suffers from, and the pace at which he bowls at. So it will be a pleasant surprise if he plays today. But I think he should not be rushed into a comeback. The kind of injuries that he suffered, I think if he plays, obviously LSG have a tremendous added weapon to their armory.
Dwaipan, a word about this Mumbai Indians team. Again, they've had a slow start, but as they've got a number of wins under their belts, the team certainly has started clicking. I think the 5 wins that they've each had a different man of the match in every game. how do you see this team now? Do you see them as a sure shot qualifier in the top four? And if you can just touch upon this, their campaign every season where they start off slowly and then they build up steam.
Yeah, see, the thing about Mumbai Indians, what I see in this team is that there is no other team in the entire tournament which has so much individual talent in the team. Like from 1 to 11, there are at least 8 or 9 proven match winners. So there is no team which has such talent. Now the point is of that talent coming together. Coming together is one big thing, and yes, that first 11 is very kind of sacrosanct kind of an 11 where Jasprit Bumrah being there and not being there makes a hell of a lot of difference. Like Bumrah was not there for the first 3 4 4 4 games and they were losing because the bowling lacked that zip and they were losing. Now that he is back, that bank of 4 overs where you will not get more than 25 runs is there on any wicket. Whichever wicket you play on, you are not going to get more than 25-30 against Jasprit Bumrah. 25-30 is the outer limit. So with that cushion, these bowlers are also the Trent Bolt, Deepak Chahar. They are also slowly coming into their role. Mitchell Santner has been fantastic. He came into the IPL on the back of a very good Champions Trophy. He's experienced. He knows how to bowl on Indian pitches, having bowled in the Test series. So there is a beautiful balance to this team. Having said that, whether they will go on to make the last four, they are already walking a very thin line because their start was very poor, and there are
Mm,
other teams also which are doing very well. So one defeat, one washout, and then suddenly they may not make it. So that
mm,
is that is the because they're walking a very thin line, and you can lose a T20 game. Even if you are playing well, if every 2 days you are playing a game, there is always a possibility that you lose one game and there is a washout and then you don't make it because there are 6 teams who can make it at the moment. So
yeah.
it is very tight at the top. So they have made it hard for themselves, but they have the talent to pull through. Let's see. Now there are a lot of variables in play. If all the variables fall into place, there is a chance that they will probably make the last four.
We've had a comment from a sports fan who says that the only concern for MI was Rohit's form. Now with him scoring twin fifties, he has covered. The franchise has covered all their bases to reach the playoffs. So yeah, interesting. I mean, I don't think he had scored back-to-back fifties since 2016, which is quite a staggering stat for a batsman of that quality. Um, we also have another game, later in the night with Delhi Capitals taking on RCB. Uh, Gentlemen, your take, starting with Gaurav. How do you see that game? Virat Kohli's den, but KL Rahul's territory. It seems, as that's how all the pre-match talk or write-ups was being built up. How do you see that one going, Gigi?
Today Virat has the opportunity to do a reverse on what KL did the other day. Score a match-winning half century or a knock, and then just slam his bat on the pitch and say that this is my turf. And this is where people come to see me, as we saw in that Ranji Trophy match. In the winter,
Yeah.
wherein around I think around 20,000 people came to watch him. So this will be one hell of a contest. I'm really looking forward to it. KL versus his ex team, and Virat versus Delhi team. So this one is going to be exciting, and I think I can't wait for that match to begin as well. I wish this match gets over soon so that I can just sit on the couch and enjoy that game, because again a lot of stars on both the sides. RCB have been playing pretty well. Pleasantly, their
Mhm.
bowling has been good, and they've been sort of playing some exciting cricket. So and Delhi have been absolutely superb. They were grappling with Captain Akshay Patel's poor form, but I think Akshay has bounced back, taken a few wickets. So it should be an exciting contest. And KL's form obviously has been tremendous. His white ball game has gone to the next level, as I said earlier.
Mm, mm. Dwaipayan, your take on that game. I mean, we had a few comments from Virat Kohli the other day saying, I mean, very rarely he speaks with that much candor. That he said the other day that after a long time they've had a very good auction. I think he was referring to the picks in Krunal and Bhuvi, which has added depth to their bowling. Your take? I mean. Your take on that game as well as how RCB are shaping up this season.
Yes, RCB, their auction strategy was very sound. Like they knew what they were after. That is what one thing I really liked about their approach. They knew what they were looking for. They let go of Will Jacks because they saw that probably Phil Salt is a better fit for them. On current form on the pitches that there will be an offer. So they let go of Will Jacks and went for Phil Salt. Has been an element of very very sane approach to the way they have gone about it with the fact that they have Mavericks in the side. Like that is the mix that you need to have a good IPL team, which some of the other teams are lacking. But these two teams, both Delhi and RCB, when they build their teams with a lot of thought. You can see that a lot of thought has gone in, a lot of analysis has gone in, and when the teams were initially picked, we were not as enthused about the teams. We were not really talking about them as being the favorites. But
Yeah, yeah,
as the tournament has gone forward, we have seen that how the constituent parts have beautifully fallen into place. It is about a machine coming together with the parts being at their best. So that is what is happening with these two teams. Like the players that they have, not necessarily they are the best players, best picks around, but they are in good form and they are everything. Those constituent parts are beautifully falling into place. So it's a good match. It's a good match of two form teams. It can well be the final also. Of course, Mumbai is there. Another very sound team, as I said, like a very talented team. But this one and this can be a final. There is a chance that this is a rehearsal for the final.
Hmm. Gaurav, the RCB this year have in Suyash and in Krunal Pandya, they've really kind of discovered two bowlers who can bowl very well in the middle overs. Especially, yes, they won only one game at the Chinnaswamy, but I think in terms of defending scores or restricting opponents, they found two bowlers who can do that role. That was a segment which they generally used to struggle. But this year, in terms of the spin attack, a lot of people, when they saw their lineup earlier on, they thought that their Achilles heel would be Indian spin. But I think in Krunal and in Suyash, I think they found two bowlers who are not only decent defensive bowlers, but also attacking bowlers who can pick wickets.
I think they were missing a quality spinner since the time they lost Yuzi Chal. They let Yuzi Chal
Yeah,
go, which I thought was a huge blunder on their part. And I think Suyash has been very impressive. I mean, the googlies that he has. The other day, I forgot which match was it, but almost every ball he was beating the batters, and they had no clue to his googly. And the thing was that his googly was so accurate. I think it just missed the stump barely. He's just at it. It just sort of spins back into the middle stump. So I think it's really a good discovery, and I hope he's nurtured and all these guys, Digvish Shetty, these guys, so that in the future we do have more options for spinners. Although we have a very deep spin bowling lineup right now, but more are welcome. So I think he's an excellent prospect, and obviously for Kunal it has been a rebirth. I mean the guy was pretty much I think sort of flew under the radar. It was sort of sidelined. He's been dropped from the Indian team for a long time. Firstly emerged as a very good all-round prospect. I think बैटिंग में उनको अभी काफी उनका potential जो है वो हमें देखना है. And I think I'm expecting that, and I hope that he does justice to his batting potential. I think he's capable of those big hits and doing that all-rounders role. And if that happens, that will be exciting to watch. Also, Phil Salt, I believe, is somebody who was underperformed till now. This He's capable of far much more, and I think KKR made a big mistake in letting him go. But coming back to these two, I think वो जो एक missing link था, as you said, that spin bowling has been taken care of. And I think with Josh Hazlewood, they provided the ideal support to Josh Hazlewood, and Josh Hazlewood has made their job easier as well. With those early blows and those late blows, there's always those 4 overs. I think that the opposition are factoring in of Josh Hazlewood, and they look to perhaps attack these guys, and it's not possible. And with Kunal also, the extra pace that he puts on the ball, the arm ball that he has, it's really quick. So he's a dangerous prospect.
Dwaipayan, I was just reading the stat that RCB have won 9 out of the 11 games where Virat Kohli has scored a 50. Um, you, he still is the fulcrum of that batting lineup, isn't it? Despite all the explosive talent around him, but the side really revolves around, or the side really functions around his contributions.
Nitin, like this is one thing is that like when an opener gets a 50 in a T20 cricket in a good time, like if a 30-35 ball 50, it invariably sets the platform up. Like that is the rule of the game. It's almost the rule of the game. If we look into the stats of other teams, we will also probably see that when an opener gets a 50, the team more
Yeah.
often than not goes on to win it. Yes, Virat Kohli is very very important to this team for what, because he has those different paces with in which he can play. Like if a wicket falls, he can just hold back for a bit. When the need be, he can go for the big hit. He can clear. He can be a six hitter as well as a boundary hitter. So he's a complete player. Like he's a complete player who he reminds me of the of how Tendulkar used to be for Mumbai Indians in that 2010 to 2012 phase. Like they were also he was magnificent. That 2010 IPL, like I remember, he was probably the highest run getter in that
Yeah, yeah,
IPL.
yeah.
Virat Kohli is a bit in that mold, uh, and what the beauty of RCB is that they have different kinds of players. Like after that Padikkal, then your Rajat Patidar. I think if you tell me who the real fulcrum of this batting lineup is, I would say Rajat Patidar is the actual fulcrum of this batting lineup, because he is holding this batting lineup at the number 4 position beautifully. And while Virat Kohli has everything in his game which sets the match up. So yes, the batting lineup, it's a very very good batting lineup. I like everything about it, and thankfully they have got rid of Liam Livingstone, who I think is again a bit of a liability on pitches where there is a little bit of help for the spinners. He will invariably not get runs. Where there is a bit of help for the spinners on flat tracks where the ball is coming on, he may come good. But when there is spin, when the ball stops, he is not going to get runs, just as Glenn Maxwell won't get runs.
Okay, news coming in from the Wankhede. Rishabh Pant has won the toss, and Lucknow will be fielding first. Big news is Mayank Yadav is in the 11 in place of Shardul Thakur. So Shardul Thakur has been dropped on his home ground. And Gigi, Mayank Yadav back.
Yes, a pleasant surprise, and good for Indian cricket that he's back. And I hope he's able to play 3-4 games on the run and doesn't get injured again. And he's able to play, so sustain his playing time. And sort of he's worked on his body, and those at the NCA have worked on his body. And and I hope he sort of takes it easy and doesn't go flat out in the first game itself, especially in this heat. But definitely it gives a huge edge to LSG now, and it will be interesting because till now Rohit is coming off to a couple of superb 70s, in the last 2 games, having rediscovered his form. But if Mayank is unleashed first up, which I think he will be, then I think he'll have slightly harder, sort of really extra pace to handle. And it will be interesting to see how he goes about that, because he struggled in the previous games, and these days he does struggle against quality, against that kind of pace. And I think a bit hard on Shardul. Picked up 12 wickets in 7 games earlier. But I think with Mayank coming in, it was an automatic selection that Mayank would play. But now I think LSG's entire crop of fast bowlers, which was injured, is now back. I think Avesh was injured, Akashdeep was injured, and Mayank was injured, and everybody was making fun of LSG owner, Mr. Sanjeev Goenka. But he's had the last laugh. And if Mayank he's got it to the halfway stage of the competition, this is the business end of the competition now from here. So if Mayank sort of fires in the next 3-4 games, LSG have a real chance to go into the playoffs. Having said that, with Mayank, we need to take it easy and not burden him with expectations straight away. So, but yeah, it's added the extra spice and excitement to the game, no doubt.
Dwaipayan, your take on this? This is a bit of a strange call from MI. They have dropped Mitchell Santner and they have picked Corbin Bosch. And obviously, I think they brought back Karan Sharma, I think, who had split his webbing. So, a bit of a strange call to drop Mitchell Santner.
I will be surprised if he is not nursing an injury. Like, has he really been dropped on the way he bowled? He has been bowling. Uh, I don't know.
Hardik Pandya says Mitchell misses out, and instead of him, Corbin Bosch makes his debut.
Okay, I don't know. Like, what is the logic behind him missing out? Because Mitchell Santner has a bit of an has injury issues. Like, he has that back strain and all, which he sometimes suffers from. I really don't know how Mitchell Santner can miss out on current form, like the way he has been bowling.
Is it because of the surfeit of left-handers in the LSG lineup?
Uh, could be like Nicholas Puran, Rishabh Pant, and who else?
David Miller.
David Miller, I also don't think is in the 11. David Miller is not in the 11.
Okay.
This right hand, left hand, okay, fine. Like, I don't know. I don't know. This comes as a surprise to me. Maybe Mumbai Indians think tank, Jayawardene and Hardik Pandya knows better. But a red hot player bowling so well, missing out if he is not injured and bringing in a guy who has not played. I don't know whether that's the way to go. I'm not very sure about this decision.
Quick predictions, Gaurav. MI-LSG, first up.
Yeah, I think now with Mayank coming in, but again at the same time, I hope MI have not made a blunder here and dropped Mitchell Santner for Corbin Bosch. And Corbin Bosch is just coming off I mean, he's had a controversial debut in the IPL with having backed out of his PSL contract and legal threat by the PSL. I hope he's able to sort of put that behind him. I think MI is still the favorites. I mean, they've been on a roll, winning 4 matches on the trot, on the bounce. So, and with their batters, especially being in the kind of form, Surya has been in absolutely tremendous form. So, but again, Mayank, it's a 50-50 right now, honestly. With Mayank coming in, I would have had MI at 70-30 favorites, but now with Mayank coming in and the kind of form that Puran is in and Mitchmarsh is in, and teams tending to chase well in this IPL, I think I would place it at 50-50. Maybe okay if you ask me to hold a gun to my head and ask for one choice, I would say LSG right now.
Okay, Dwaipayan?
It's very difficult to call. It's very difficult to call. But when you have Bumrah and Surya Kumar in a team, it is very difficult to look beyond that.
Okay. So, starting with you, Dwaipayan, for the second game, your pick.
Because RCB is winning, always winning away from home, I will go with RCB. But then again, that is a very difficult game to call. It's very, very difficult.
Okay. Gaurav, you're hoping for a quick finish here so that you can catch the night game. Your pick for that one.
I think Delhi. I think Delhi has been got a lot of their bases covered. I think they're in super form. They're looking very good. I don't know if Faf du Plessis will be back. I think he's been injured, right? He's been out of the last few matches.
Yeah. He's fit again.
So I hope he's back. Yeah. So I think Delhi have quite a few. I mean, they look really strong on paper. So and they've been in form. So I doubt that. I think RCB will implode at some point, given the historical record. Having said that, it's a very well composed team, but still, again, extremely close call this thing, because one spell of Hazelwood could actually swing it towards RCB.
Okay. There we have it, guys. Two fabulous games. I hope everyone enjoys. Gaurav, you have a good game today.
Thank you.
Have fun
Thank you,
covering
Nitin.
it. And thanks for joining in. Dwaipayan, thank you for joining in today on a Sunday and giving your thoughts. To all the viewers, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to TOI Sports and Beyond the Boundary. And we shall see you soon again. Thank you very much.